been very consistent this year. What's been the secret?
Just hard work. And Olivia and I really click whenever I'm on the mound, and when she's back behind the plate and she knows what I throw and how everything moves, so it's a lot easier when you have a catcher that's as good as she is to be consistent on the mound.
What does she do when you're having a good game that helps you out?
She knows what pitches are working and what pitches aren't, so she knows which ones to call, and it helps me relax because I don't have to think about what to throw to the batter. I know that she knows what she's doing because she knows what I know what I'm doing, so it's all just knowing each other that helps us out a lot.
What does she do to help you when you have a bad game?
It's her and the entire team when I'm not throwing as well as I normally would. They really cheer me up and they pick me up and make sure that I know that it's not all me. This is a team sport, and I had it and then I lost it. So yeah, that's it.
How important is it to have a good defense in back of you that you know you can just go out and throw the ball?
Oh, it's very important. I know that I can't strike everyone out. It would be awesome, but I can't. And so knowing that I have a solid defense behind me, I can relax a lot more when I'm up there. I don't have that moment of panic when they hit the ball. It's like, oh no, they're going to make an error, because they're not, because they're good.
So far, undefeated in conference, you're breezing through that. Talk to me about how winning gives you more confidence.
Well, I mean, knowing that you're number one is like, for the entire team is a huge confidence boost. Like, we're number one in the conference. We haven't been undefeated before. I mean, us as a group haven't been undefeated before. So going undefeated into this year's conference is a great confidence boost.
How much easier is it, because you've already played these teams once, you have an idea what they're going to do? How much easier is that for you?
It's actually a lot more difficult. It's hard to beat a team twice because they've seen me as well. So knowing what their pitchers are going to do gives us an advantage, but they know what I'm going to do, and that gives them an advantage as well. So it's just who has more heart is who's going to win the game.
Talk to me about your team chemistry.
It's fantastic. All of us love each other. All of us joke around with each other, but we know when it's time to be serious. And it just makes things loose, and we keep the intensity up when we're on the field, and that helps us win games.
Would you rather get 7 strikeouts in a game or 3 hits, and why?
3 hits, because if we don't score runs, then we don't win the game. So if I'm up there striking people out, but they have on 1 home run, and we lose 1-0, that doesn't help us at all. So it's much more important to have offense.
Coach Williams' coaching style is pretty loose, I would say. Talk to me about that a little bit.
She knows that we know how to play the game, and she has so much confidence in us that it makes it a lot more easy to play the game when she's not harping on us all the time, and she knows that. So she uses that to her advantage, and she sees what we need to work on, we work on that, and then she expects us to remember how to do that in the game, because we're all young adults and we all know how to play softball, so we shouldn't have to be babysat all the time.
Hickman tournament this weekend. Tough teams to step up in class a little bit against some big schools. Talk to me about how much you look forward to playing those bigger schools.
Well, it's nerve-wracking, definitely, to play those bigger schools, but I love playing tough competition. It makes the games more interesting, and I'm really looking forward to having the chance to strike some people out that are really good, or having a chance to see my team kick someone's butt that's supposed to be better than we are, and I love that feeling.
Start where she ended. Hickman tournament this weekend. Get a chance to play against some bigger schools. I know you're probably looking forward to that and see how you fare against them, huh?
Yeah, I think our team's prepared pretty well. It'll be good to see some newer teams that we normally don't see in conference. I think it'll be a good test to see where we're at before we hit districts.
More pressure or less pressure when you play in a tournament like that, because it doesn't affect, it does affect the conference, but it doesn't really affect things that way.
I look at it as at times there's more pressure because there are sometimes better hitters, there are sometimes better pitchers, and we just have to see how well we can adjust.
Talk to me about your team chemistry.
Our team chemistry, well, we've all been together for quite some time. We all have about the same heart for the game, and I think that we gelled together pretty well.
Coach Williams and her coaching style, it's loose, it lets you go and play. Talk to me about how that's an advantage, so you don't have to worry about somebody looking over your shoulder every time, when you're out there.
Well, I just feel that Coach is a lot looser with her coaching because she's got the belief in our team. She believes that we know what we're doing. She has the trust in us that we're going to make the right play at the right time, and I just think that she knows what she's doing, and that's why she's doing it.
Over the last 4 or 5 games, every time I get the report on my phone, you have a couple of hits here and a couple of hits there, you're 2 for 3. What's been the secret to your consistency over the last 4, 5, 6 games?
Well, I was in a little bit of a struggle with hitting, and I've just went back. I've broken down my hit and started, focusing more deeper into the mechanics of it and just practice getting the mechanics down in practice.
How do you do that until that becomes natural and you're not thinking at the plate?
Well, I just walk up to the plate thinking to see the ball and hit the ball, you need to just make it all natural because you sometimes try too hard and it doesn't come out with a very good outcome.
Do you mentally see yourself getting a hit while you're in the on-deck circle?
Yeah, I do. I feel like if you take more of a mental approach and then you walk up there, it just becomes natural.
How far can this team go?
I think this team can go as far as we want to go. I think we've got the potential. We've got the pitching, the catching, the hitting. I think we've got it all.
Yeah, that's the point of this tournament. This tournament and the Jeff City tournament, we go and play a lot of big schools that we don't usually see, games don't necessarily matter, but, expose us as a team and get us, where we need to be at the end of the year.
Okay, so they're bigger schools and they may be, whatever on class-wise and whatever. What can you learn from that, though? Is there one thing, is it knowing that they're a bigger school? I mean, if you play a smaller school, you know what I mean? What do you really learn from these games?
I think you learn about yourselves as a team. You learn your strengths and your weaknesses, really, from these games. You learn how to play 7 innings of softball against teams that, are competitive and put the pressure to you from the start. And so I think, you just learn how to become a better team from it.
Over the last 3, 4, 5 games, every time you send me something, you've got 2 or 3 hitters, at least with 2 hits, maybe a couple with 3 or whatever. Talk to me about the hitting consistency lately and why that's been that way.
We've been real patient at the plate. Each girl kind of has their own approach, whether they go early in the count, go late in the count, they wait. We've been really stressing, get your pitch, be patient, know what to do in a certain situation with runners on. And I think, obviously it's been successful for several girls that have bought into that scenario and are, kind of getting into the groove and figuring out what works for them.
Speaking about being in a groove, Fountain is in a groove on the mound. Success breeds success there, huh?
Yeah, she's been doing really well, both, offense, defense. She's just been bringing it. A lot of her pitches are working, getting a lot of, mixing up speeds, keeping girls on their toes, and it's working out for us right now, and, hopefully it'll stay that way.
How do you keep them sharp? It's a long season, and it's winding down. You've got, before you know it, it's going to be over with, and it's only another couple of weeks and the playoffs start. But how do you keep that edge week in and week out late in the season?
I think you just have to keep pushing them. Tell them, play with a little cockiness. Know that you are one of the best teams in the conference, if not the best team, and to maintain that. And history speaks for itself. So I think you just have to keep living up to the past, but live in the future and understand that we're here for a reason, and we wouldn't be doing this if we couldn't do it.
How many games do you win a year just on your tradition because you've been good in the past?
Oh, I'd say at least 10 to 15 probably, if not more than that. 15 at least, if not 20. So I think, that's just kind of the thing. You come in and teams are out to get us, but, we have that talent and the tradition and the background that, pushes us and gives our team that little fight to keep going.
And then when it gets in a close game, they start thinking. Or when you come back or you get that run and you make something happen, it's like, oh, here they go again, and they're gonna beat us, isn't it? And they're almost defeated.
Yeah, last night we played Fulton and did the same thing. Came back in the 7th inning. We're down, came back, and each time we put runners on second, you could kind of sense that they were getting a little nervous. That oh, here might be the chance, and we finally capitalized it towards the end of the game. Just showing that you got to play 7 innings, and we'll battle till the end, no matter what.